Let's get right into it. Number 10. Kinetic Bombardment Protocols. Imagine a weapon so powerful it could level a city, but without any nuclear fallout. The military calls them rods from God, massive tungsten poles, the size of telephone poles, sitting in orbit, waiting to be dropped. These aren't bombs, they're giant space darts. When one of these rods hits Earth, it strikes with the force of a small nuclear weapon, burrowing 6 stories deep into solid rock, and the military has already written detailed protocols for how and when to use them. These rods would hit their targets at about 7 miles per second. That's so fast that if you blinked, you'd miss it. The impact would be like getting hit by a meteor, except this meteor takes orders. Unlike nukes, there's no radiation. That means they could actually be used without turning the target into a radioactive wasteland, and because they're just chunks of metal, they wouldn't violate any nuclear weapons treaties. It's a loophole in the rules of war. The military has even given them a less threatening name, Prompt Global Strike. But don't let the boring name fool you. These things are basically Thor's hammer from space. Number 9. The strategic sand shortage. Look around you. Your windows are made of sand. Your phone screen is made of sand. The walls of your house are made of concrete, which needs sand, and we are running out. You might think there's sand everywhere, but desert sand is useless for most things. The grains are too smooth and round from being blown around for millions of years. We need the rough, angular sand that comes from riverbeds and coastlines. We're using it incredibly fast. Every skyscraper needs around 100,000 tons of sand. Just 1 mile of highway needs 45,000 tons. There are literal sand mafias operating right now. These are organized crime syndicates with heavy machinery and armed guards. They've killed hundreds of people who tried to stop them. Intelligence agencies are tracking these groups because sand theft could destabilize entire regions. Countries won't be able to build new houses or repair infrastructure. Microchips need extremely pure sand to make silicon. That special sand only comes from a few places on Earth. Experts are worried about what happens when countries start fighting over what's left. Because unlike oil, we don't have an alternative for sand. You can't make concrete, glass, or microchips without it. Number 8. The Doomsday Seed Vault's Dark Secret. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault is a massive fortress built into an Arctic mountain. It stores millions of seed samples to restart agriculture after a global catastrophe. The official story is it's there for natural disasters or climate change, but some scientists are quietly preparing for something scarier, engineered crop blights. Someone could create a super disease that targets wheat, designed in a lab to be unstoppable. Within months, it could spread across continents. No more toast, no more pasta, no more burger buns. Rice feeds half the world's population. One engineered blight could wipe out the main food source for billions of people. Creating these crop killers isn't even that hard anymore. A decent lab with gene editing tools could cook one up. The Svalbard Vault is built to survive earthquakes, nuclear war, and the collapse of civilization. The seeds are stored at -18°C in special 4-layer packets, inside sealed boxes. Even if power fails, the mountain's permafrost keeps it below freezing. It's preparing for the day someone weaponizes hunger itself. Number 7. The Prion Nightmare. Imagine a zombie apocalypse where the infection is already everywhere, silently spreading. Prions are scarier than any horror movie monster. They teach proteins in your brain to fold the wrong way, and once one protein gets folded wrong, it starts a chain reaction, teaching others to do the same. Prions aren't alive. You can't kill something that was never alive in the first place. Boiling doesn't work. Radiation doesn't work. Regular sterilization is useless. Prion diseases are 100% fatal. No exceptions. Once symptoms show up, there's nothing doctors can do except watch as your brain literally develops holes like a sponge. Experts are worried about a new type of prion disease, one that could spread easily between people and take years to show symptoms. Someone could get infected today and live normally for a decade, all while accidentally spreading it. By the time the first person shows symptoms, thousands could be infected. This isn't science fiction. We already know prions can jump between species. That's what happened with mad cow disease. The new concern is one that spreads as easily as the flu. Most hospitals don't even have the equipment to properly sterilize instruments exposed to prions. The invisible, untreatable, unkillable proteins could be spreading right now. Number 6. The Great Underground Water Heist. Imagine turning on your tap and nothing comes out. Not because of a pipe break, but because the water is just gone. Right now, underneath our feet, we're running the biggest water heist in human history. Deep underground are massive water reserves called aquifers, like giant underground lakes that took thousands of years to fill. Scientists using special satellites called GRACE have discovered these underground water banks are being drained faster than a bathtub with the plug pulled out. The Ogallala Aquifer under America's farmland is losing enough water to fill 18 million Olympic swimming pools every year. Once these aquifers are empty, They can't be refilled. Some of them, when drained, actually collapse. The land literally sinks. In parts of California's Central Valley, the ground has already sunk by 30 feet. Water experts are quietly preparing for what they call day zero scenarios, when major cities or farming regions simply run out of water. Cape Town, South Africa almost hit their day zero in 2018. They were saved by last-minute rain, but it was a wake-up call. We're using most of this ancient water to grow water-hungry crops in deserts. So next time you turn on your tap, remember that water might be older than human civilization. Number 5. The end of antibiotics. We've gotten used to antibiotics fixing everything, but experts are quietly freaking out because our miracle drugs are stopping to work. Bacteria are evolving and finding new ways to survive our antibiotics. Scientists are calling these superbugs. Doctors are already seeing infections that can fight off every antibiotic we throw at them. Because of this, experts are digging up old-school solutions. There's a thing called phage therapy. It uses viruses that eat bacteria, like sending in tiny assassins to take out the bad guys. The Soviets used it during the Cold War. Now Western scientists are realizing they were onto something. Without working antibiotics, simple surgeries become super risky. Even a small cut could turn deadly. We're talking about going back to a time when people would write their wills before getting their appendix out. The experts estimate we have maybe 10 years before this becomes a full-blown crisis. And the worst part is we're still handing out antibiotics like candy. About 80% of antibiotics in the US are used on livestock, not people. So next time you're at the doctor's office begging for antibiotics for the sniffles, remember, you might be contributing to a future where paper cuts are scary again. Number 4. The quantum apocalypse. Pretty soon, every password on Earth could be completely useless. Right now, governments and tech companies are in a secret race to build the first working quantum computer, and whoever wins gets to read everyone else's secrets. These computers use quantum physics to crack passwords that would take regular computers billions of years to break. Once someone builds one, every encrypted thing on Earth becomes readable. Bank accounts, military secrets, your private messages, all of it. And bad guys are already stealing encrypted data today, waiting for quantum computers to crack it open. Cybersecurity experts call it store now, decrypt later. Someone could be recording all your private video calls, just waiting for the technology to watch them. The NSA and other agencies are scrambling to build quantum-proof encryption, but some experts think we're just 5 to 10 years away from this happening. Every piece of encrypted data you've ever sent could be exposed in less than a decade. Number 3. The global blackout switch. Imagine waking up and nothing works. Your phone's dead, the power's out, everywhere, and it's not coming back on. This is one of the biggest concerns keeping government scientists up at night. In 1859, telegraph operators started getting shocked by their machines. Sparks flew. People saw auroras so bright they could read newspapers at midnight. This was the Carrington event, the biggest solar storm ever recorded. In 1859, it just messed with telegraphs. Today, we've wrapped the entire planet in sensitive electronics. A Carrington-level event today would be like setting off an EMP bomb over every continent simultaneously. The magnetic storm would induce electrical currents in power lines. Transformers would explode. Satellites would fry. The internet's backbone would melt. We couldn't just fix it. Most replacement transformers are made in other countries. With no working ports, trucks, or communications, it would take years to restore power. The government has been quietly hardening critical facilities. Military bases and government buildings have special shielding. For everyone else, we'd be thrown back to the 1800s overnight. We had a near miss in 2012. A solar storm fired off in the perfect position to hit Earth. It just happened 1 week too early. We have a 12% chance of getting hit by one in the next decade. Number 2. Autonomous, lethal battlefields. Imagine a battlefield where no human pulls the trigger, where AI systems make their own decisions about who lives and who dies. Sounds like science fiction, but it's already happening. Right now, military labs are developing something called ethical governors for AI weapons. It's like putting a conscience into a killing machine. They're building them because they know they'll have to. AI weapons are so fast that waiting for a human to make a decision would be like bringing a knife to a gunfight. When AI systems are fighting each other, microseconds matter. That's why the military is quietly working on AI that can make its own kill decisions while following the rules of war. These systems won't just decide who to target. They'll calculate acceptable civilian casualties. They'll weigh the strategic value of a target against potential collateral damage, all in the blink of an eye. A machine deciding how many civilian deaths are worth it to take out a target. Once one military deploys these systems, Everyone else will have to follow suit just to keep up. It's like nuclear weapons all over again. Politicians debate whether AI should be allowed to make lethal decisions. Military planners are already preparing for a world where they have no choice. Number 1. The Cascadia Big One. Imagine waking up, and within 15 minutes, your entire city is underwater, not from rain, but from the ocean floor literally dropping 6 feet in an instant. This is what experts in the Pacific Northwest are secretly preparing for right now. They call it the Cascadia Big One. We're talking about a 9.0 plus megathrust earthquake that will make the San Andreas Fault look like a gentle massage. The experts aren't wondering if it will happen, they're just wondering when. And when it does, you'll have about 15 minutes to get to high ground before a 100-foot tsunami rolls in. That's why they're quietly building vertical evacuation towers along the coast, because they know something most people don't. You can't outrun a tsunami moving at 500 miles per hour, but it gets worse. The earthquake will be so powerful, it'll turn the ground into liquid. Imagine the soil under your feet suddenly becoming like a milkshake. Buildings will sink, bridges will collapse, roads will split open, and that's all before the tsunami even shows up. The geological record shows this happens every 300 to 500 years. The last one was January 26th, 1700, exactly 324 years ago. We're overdue. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.